Hello everyone, today we're going to be working on example 2.5 and this example is asking us to resolve each force acting on the post into its x and y components. So what we're going to do is we're going to be taking each of these three forces and instead of them being vertical or to an angle, we're going to try to find its x and y components. So it's vertical and horizontal components. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to find its x components or its horizontal components. So we're going to start off with f of 1. So f of 1 of x, as you could see, f of 1 of x is already completely vertical, so there is no horizontal component to it. So that one's just going to be 0 newtons. Now we can move on to f of 2, and we're going to try to find its x component or its horizontal component. And as you could see, this is our f of 2. So if we were to draw like a triangle right here, we can see that this is the angle given to us. We know this side, and we're trying to find its horizontal side. So we're trying to find this side. So we know the angle, we know the side, and we're trying to find this side. So we know the hypotenuse side, and we're trying to find the adjacent side um, with correspondence to this angle right here. So by knowing that, we know that we could use cosine since cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So we're going to write 450 newtons times cosine of 45. And then we're going to input that into our calculator. And you want to make sure that your calculator is in degrees and not in radians. And then that should give you 318.198. And we're just going to round that to 2.2 newtons. And then we're going to work on f of 3, f of 3 of x. And f of 3 is given to us in slope, so 3, 4, 5. There's no angle here. So we're trying to find the horizontal, the x component. So we're trying to find this side, which is 3. And we are given the side of 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to write 600 newtons times 3 over 5. And then we're going to input that into our calculator. And that should give us 360 newtons. So now we're going to work on our y components or our vertical components. So f of 1 of y. As we mentioned earlier, f of 1 is already completely vertical and it's completely just the y component. So f of 1 of y is simply just going to be 300 newtons. F of 2 of y. So instead of using cosine, we're going to be using sine because this time we are trying to find this side right here, and we're given this side. So that's opposite and hypotenuse, and we know that sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so we could use sine. So we're going to write f of 2 of y is equal to 450 newtons times sine of 45 instead of cosine. And that should give us 318.198 also. So we're going to round that up to 0.2 newtons. And now we're going to work on f of 3 of y. F of 3 of y, we're trying to find y component, vertical component. So this time we're going to be using the side of 4 and 5. So 600 newtons times 4 over 5, which should give you 480 newtons. Now we're just going to come down here and write them in a more organized way. So f of 1 of x was 0 newtons, and f of 1 of y was the 300. was 318.2 newtons. Sorry. So 2 of y was also 318.2 newtons. F of 3 of x was 360 newtons, and f of 3 of y was 480 newtons. And just like that, we were able to resolve each force acting on the post into its x and y components.